Hello and welcome to Channel 18 TV News. I'm Don Julian, filling in today for Jimmy Rogers. Two individuals took plea bargain agreements in district courts in Hopkins County Monday. In 62nd District Court, with District Judge Will Baird presiding, 61-year-old Kenneth Ray Vaughn pleaded guilty to obstruction retaliation and received a sentence of 14 years. Vaughn was arrested in January. He was accused of verbally threatening Hopkins County Sheriff's Sergeant Wade Sheets, who was responding to a disturbance call at a residence on County Road 3562. According to an arrest report, a man threatened to blow the deputy's head off. In 8th District Judge, with District Judge Eddie Northcutt presiding, 34-year-old Wesley Chester pleaded guilty to charges of possession of a controlled substance less than 1 gram and burglary of a habitation with the intent to commit assault, and he was sentenced to 3 years in prison. In April, a man forced entry into a residence on Houston Street and assaulted a man and a woman. He shoved the woman and put her in a chokehold, and also struck the man in the head and put him in a chokehold. Law enforcement officers said they observed visual injuries to both the man and woman victim. The city of Sulphur Springs is near the end of completion of projects on the city 5-year capital construction improvement plan. City Manager Mark Maxwell gives us the status on the last few projects on the list.
So the big project going right now is Bill Bradford Road still. In March, I think it'll be a year, and we should be finishing up about then. Remember, that was a complete reconstruction. It's water, sewer, drainage, even the gas line got replaced, and then we started on the street. And of course, all the utilities have been done for some time. The street is probably about 2/3 done. And the contractor continues to work away on the concrete itself. And then next up is Locust Street. We're working on that already. We've already replaced the water line. It's from Maine to Bellevue. We have replaced the sewer line. We're replacing the water line now, and Atmos is replacing their main as well. And then that will also be a concrete street. And then next up after that, 1 block over, Moore Street gets the same thing. And then there's one more project, and that will complete the 5-year cycle of capital improvement program. And that last project is it's a sewer project. There is a rather large lift station behind the hospital that we call Cantex. And a lift station is at a low point, and it pumps sewage up to a point where it will gravity flow the rest of the way. And so it actually it forces the sewage through a main that goes right through the medical complex, the hospital and doctor's offices. It actually goes under 1 or 2 doctor's offices. And it's old. And that's the kind of thing that keeps city managers awake at night. And so we're going to replace the main, and we're actually going to reroute it to go around the complex instead of through it, and take a different route entirely. And so then that'll complete the 5-year capital improvements program, and we'll start another one. And then in addition to that, we do the summer paving programs each summer as well. And it's probably a misnomer, because it never happens until winter, because the contractors who do the summer paving are all busy with state projects in the summertime, and then they get to us in the wintertime. And so we're about to do that.
Oh, okay. It's all probably like 18 or 20 streets.
We've got several spots that we're going to do some extensive repairs. They're called soft spots, and then we'll dig it up, cement stabilize the soil, and have them repave it. And then Gossett Lane, a portion of it inside of Coleman Park, gets repaved. Woodside, in the Woodbridge addition, there's some extensive repairs to be done out there. We'll take entire sections and replace them. And then Hodge Street from Brinker to Davis, Lewis from College to Lakeshore, Lovers Lane from Highway 67 to the railroad, Parkins Street from Broadway to Fisher, Putman from Gilmer to Oak, Tate from League to Texas, and Veterans Drive from Como to the interstate. We'll all get a fresh asphalt on top of it.
And that is happening soon, or?
That'll probably happen just after the first of the year.
First year. All right, sounds good.
Yeah.
Appreciate
Lots happening. And for those who live on Bill Bradford or Locust, we apologize for the inconvenience, but in the end it'll be worth it.
Sure. Look at Houston Street.
Oh yeah, yeah. And we won't have to do anything to Houston Street for decades because it's concrete. And the same thing for Bill Bradford, for Locust. It's just, once it's done, it's done. And so we put in the utilities, and wherever there's a vacant lot, we make sure that we run a service to it in case it's ever built. We don't have to dig up the concrete. And of course, all of the homes that are already there get a new service as well. And so there's just going to be no reason to get under the street for decades and decades.
May not want to comment, but any candidates for the next big project like a Bill Bradford or a Houston Street?
We're not that far along in the process. I'm sure everybody thinks their street is a candidate.
The ears just perked up all over town.
But if you have ideas, you can give us a call, and we'll put it on the list of considerations when we sit down with engineering staff and
Very good.
start going over the potentials.
Cheryl Spears dropped by to remind us that right after Christmas and New Year's is done, it's tax season. Actually, they need volunteers for this year's tax aid program and folks who would like to get their taxes done for free through the tax aid program. Let's find out more from Cheryl.
It's not difficult, and you don't have a lot of requirements to do it. You just basically have a need to want to help people, to have the time to put in it, and just basically be able to use a computer. I mean, if you can Facebook with your grandchildren or whatever, you have enough computer knowledge to do it.
Okay, well, who sponsors the tax aid program?
It's sponsored by the IRS and the AARP Foundation, which is the charitable organization of AARP. They're also responsible for driver safety, and they have like 3 or 4 branches of the foundation.
Well, when we hear the word or letters AARP in association with tax aid, of course you think senior citizens.
Right.
But you don't have to be a retired person.
No, you don't have to be a member of AARP. You don't have to be a retired person to volunteer or to get your taxes done. I started in my 30s as a volunteer. So, but we do taxes for all ages. We just can't do anything complicated. It's only simple returns, nothing with inventory or employees or depreciation or anything like that. We're not really doing businesses. We're doing individuals, but you can have investments and things like that, and we can still do it.
Okay.
But as far as volunteers go, we just need, like we say, mostly willing bodies who are willing to come learn, because we do train. I'm an instructor, and I go to school in the 1st of December, and I get trained by the IRS. And then we come back, and then we train our other volunteers. And everyone involved in the program has to take a test and pass the test in order to be certified to help. So, I mean, if you volunteer, you have to pass the test. It's not a very difficult test, but even the IRS agents who teach us have to take the test. Everyone has to take the test. And I've been doing this 26 years, and I still have to take the test every year. But of course, the tax law changes every year.
Certainly. And AARP tax aid, or sponsored tax aid, income tax preparation is free to anyone.
Yes, we do not charge. We're strictly volunteer. So people come in and get their return done for nothing, and that's a really important service that we provide, because there are a lot of people who really can't afford to pay to get their taxes done because they just don't have the income, necessary to do that.
And that removes a stumbling block for some people.
Yes. And you get a real blessing because people are so grateful and they're so happy to get it done. And we can't take any money or anything, but they occasionally pay us in donuts or other food.
That's all right.
Yeah, other food. So that's okay.
Where do you get your taxes done on the tax aid program?
We prepare them at Wesley United Methodist Church Tuesdays and Saturdays from 9 to 1. Of course, occasionally we have to be there a little early to set up, and then we have to be some days a little after that if we're still working on people and we have to finish up and we have to e-file at the end of the day and things like that.
So this is during the tax season?
Yes, we'll start February 4th and we'll finish April 18th because taxes are not due till April 18th this year, and that is a Tuesday, so we will be there on the 18th. So I guess as a volunteer, you would have to be available to work at least one of those 2 days during tax season. So you could work a regular job and still come help us on Saturday. That's possible. We've had that in the past. That's one of the reasons why we did it on Saturday, but also, people who need their taxes done work during the week too, and some of them can only come on Saturday. So, but you have to be available one of those 2 days. Okay. And then the school will be January 16th through the 20th. The 16th is Martin Luther King Day, so it's a holiday for a lot of places. But we start that day, we'll go through the 20th. If you cannot attend all 5 days, that's fine. And if you work but are fairly knowledgeable maybe about taxes, we have like blended learning where you can do some of it on your own and you only have to come for a couple of days maybe, or a limited time to cover various things. So we have options. If you're willing, we can maybe work around that. I know we have, we lost an instructor in Greenville, which is my district. I'm the district coordinator, so we have Greenville and Sulphur Springs. And so this year, the people from Greenville have to come here to go to school with us. And they have 2 people that are doing the blended learning. So,
interesting.
Yeah.
And helpful. Well, tell me, is the school in Dallas?
No, the school's here, also at Wesley United Methodist Church. And it'll be 8:30 to 5. Usually on Friday we get off a little early. But it's a time commitment for that week for sure. Or if you're blended learning, you'll have to make time on your own to study. But the only requirement really is to pass the test and be able to show proficiency in completing like 4 tax returns.
Okay.
And
Well, now we've talked about volunteers, and so if someone wants to volunteer or thinks they want to be considered as a volunteer, shall they call you?
Yes, they can call me, and I'll just ask them a few questions, make sure that they can fit into our time schedule, and make sure that they can get the training completed. So yes, they'll need to call me so I can just make sure it's all going to work. And my number is 903-885-8932. And that is my home phone, and I do have an answering machine, so if I'm not there, they can leave a message.
Sure. Well, your visit today is really kind of a twofold purpose in a way. So talking about someone who comes in to have their taxes done starting in tax season, what documents do they need to bring?
Well, obviously they would need to bring all proof of income, whatever it is. If it's a W-2 or if you're self-employed, we'll need to know what your income was. All the documents related to that. If you have investments, we'll need your broker statements, your interest statements from the bank. Or if you didn't get a statement from the bank, like let's say you had just a few dollars of income, of interest, and you didn't get a statement from the bank, you just have to write that down or tell us about it. Okay. So, just make sure you have some information about all of your income. And then, of course, all of your expenses. If you're going to itemize deductions, then we'll need, the information about that. If you do have like self-employment income of some kind, then we would need the expenses related to that.
Okay.
So
self-employed persons and people who get a paycheck from an employer, any of these can have their taxes done if they're simple returns. Right.
Now, the self-employed person, that has the caveat. They can't be a big enough business where they're going to have employees and inventory and things like that. But if they're just like doing something out of their home that's a small, thing.
Okay. So in other words, it's individuals and small, a small one-person business or self.
Right.
Well, it's very interesting information, and so February 4th will be the go date.
Yes.
To start getting your taxes done.
Yes. So we have to have all the training done by then and get everybody certified before we start. So.
Well, you must have a love for this.
Well, this is year 26 for me. So I've been doing this a long time. But yes, I've always, liked numbers. I am a CPA, but I don't really work as a CPA. But yes, I love to do the taxes, and I love the people's faces and, the joy and the relief in them, and we get hugs and we get smiles and we get food sometimes and we get, so it's wonderful. And,
And that is at Wesley United Methodist Church, which is in itself a very friendly and inviting place.
Yes.
Okay. Well, thank you, Cheryl.
Thank you.
We will look for you at tax aid time.
Numerous members of the community will be receiving the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Awards in 33 different categories at an awards celebration on January 16th. The awards celebration will be taking place at Morning Chapel Missionary Baptist Church at 208 Fuller Street in Sulphur Springs. Dr. Ray Keck III, President and CEO of Texas A&M University Commerce, will serve as Master of Ceremonies. Keynote speaker will be Dr. Kenneth Rock Clinton. According to the Hopkins County African American Leadership Conference, these awards are given to those who demonstrate Dr. King's legacy of raising public consciousness to social justices, securing progress on civil rights, and loving and serving humanity. The Lady Cats basketball team is now 3-0 in district play after their 52-35 win over Pine Tree Tuesday in Wildcats Gym. After that game, I talked with Lady Cats basketball coach Jeff Chapman.
Defense can win you a ball game.
My first few years as a coach, and probably first 10 probably, I tried to be an offensive coach, and because that's what I did, and that's what I was really good at. And then I began to see that defense wins championships. Offense wins games, but defense wins championships. And if you can get that across to the kids and they can enjoy when playing good defense as well, then you got something going.
You can almost see the frustration on Pine Tree's, on their players as they try and probe, and it just it seemed like every time they passed it inside, a hand got on it and got the ball loose.
Yeah, some of these girls really have a knack for anticipation, and similar to number 11. But we work on some of that in practice, but it's not all drills. It's just a gift that some of them have, and they just understand the watching of in the eyes and the gestures, and I call them what is it? I can't think of it. It's like a way you I can't even think of it. It's just a way of you anticipating, like in poker. Some people have that look on their face, or a tail. I call it a tail. That's what it is. They have a tail. And the tail is what they get ready to do. Some is a wind up. Some they look that way. Some of them get ready, you know. So it's a tail. Everybody has a tail, I tell them.
Okay. No, we learn something every time. Sadavia Porter, beautiful ball game for her.
Yeah, she can really get out on the break, and the girls pass it up to her early, and they know that's some runouts is a part of what we want to do. I would love to had more outside shooting from our 3 and 2, Deja Pruitt and Tori Moore and Imani Taylor, people like that, and Destiny Weeks. But we'll take those runouts, and that's just another way to get points. We gave up at 35 to 30 is what we wanted to give up, but we didn't get our 60. But just wins a win.
Yeah, a couple of those threes, if they could have splashed in there, would have helped you. Big ball games from Kaylee Jefferson, especially in the fourth quarter, and Deja Pruitt, first 3 quarters, she helped you out a lot. Those 3 are your scorers usually, and they were there for you.
Yeah, as a coach, you don't make up your chemistry as far as who does what, and I try to encourage those guys. I talked to Deja in pregame today, and I told her that she needs to get in the mix, and I told her, she knows that I believe in her and have confidence in her, and ever since her and Katie got together, they have been high scorers. A little bit when Desi played as well, but it comes out to be Deja and Katie and Sadavia, and other guys chip in, Tori, sometime, but these girls are becoming closer, hopefully closer and closer in bonding, and that's kind of the role they're learning to play. On our trip to Idabel for the last tournament win, hopefully we can, they can be around each other more and get to, like and that chemistry. I was talking to you before the game. Chemistry is so important, and I didn't know about it as far as and make it a big deal. Just whatever happens. But if you can spur on that chemistry and that culture within your team, and hopefully everybody learn to play their role. I was impressed with Rita's free throw.
Yeah,
Rita,
5 out of 6.
Yeah, I didn't even see her miss that one. I thought she made them all. Autumn had a good game on the post, probably in that first quarter. Good defense, but she scored some off and on, and that's what we need though. When teams start figuring out who's doing our scoring, we need it to be more of a team effort. All 8 girls can score, and I'm really loving our defense right now. Like you said, I really am. Whether we're in our half-court trap or our matchup zone, we're not letting people score a whole lot of points, and that's a good thing.
Now, this was not real pretty, and it kind of takes me back to the Texas High game last year. You and I talked about it. It was not a thing of beauty, and it's a tough game when they're out of school and that sort of thing.
Yes,
but
sir.
3-0 looks pretty good when you can pick up the win here.
Yes, they're all giddy and big old eyes because it's Christmas, and some of them, they're thankful, no school. They sleep in. They don't go to bed at night. So, I was talking to one of them. I ain't going to say who it was, but they were yawning behind me right before the game. So I know that's what it is. And Rita has a tendency to get sick during this time because she said change the weather. Yeah. So, I knew it was going to be a grind game. I was hoping that, praying that it came out to be our favor. But this time of year, when you're playing with no school in, it's tough. It's tough to get them going. We had a walkthrough this morning. Everybody showed up right on time. That's a blessing. But, I'm the same way. I'm ready to go to Christmas. I want to practice them one more time tomorrow and about an hour and a half, get some shooting in, and try to maybe learn a few more things that we need to put in for the Idabel tournament. But, they know it's break time, and they've really been looking forward to it.
Yeah. Better put the armor on. They usually wear you out pretty good when you go back to Idabel, where you were a coach, I think, for a dozen years. And they can visit the Jeff Chapman statue and do all that kind of stuff. I always kid you about that. There really isn't one.
No. But the kids got to go last year, and they were really on my case because everywhere we went into town, I knew somebody, and they was like, is anybody in this town you don't know? But if you live in a small town like that for 12 years of your life and get to meet everybody, and I'm friendly to most everybody I meet anyway, so that is kind of funny. Yeah, not a statue, but it was a good place for me to learn and to become a better coach and a better human being and dealing with some good people. in that town. It's
All right. Well,
good
best of
people
luck.
as well.
Best of luck in Idabel.
Thank you.
That's Channel 18 TV news for today. I'm Don Julian, filling in for Jimmy Rogers, and thanks for joining me.
This one is from Scott Myers. Scott Myers of Mineola, Texas, who's a listener over that way. Merry Christmas to one and all at the radio station. God bless one and all. Thank you, Scott Myers. Here's a beautiful card, a poinsettia red on a charcoal gray background. Happy holidays. Boy, does that flower, which is not really a flower, you know, it's just leaves that are red, really stands out. Paul and Dorothy Tipping. They say, we hope that all of you have a wonderful Christmas. May you be surrounded by family and friends. Thank you, Paul and Dorothy, for your card in a red envelope. Here's one that looks like the side of a barn with some pine and pine cones and other wintry-looking things on it. Oh, this is from Legacy Ag Credit, the directors and employees. Merry Christmas and Happy New Year from Legacy to us here at KSST, and indirectly, I guess, to all of the listeners and viewers who are tuning in right now to the cards. This one is from Sulphur Springs, Hopkins County Economic Development Corporation. Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. They're over on Enterprise Lane. Okay, Liz McKinley, she never forgets us at Christmas time. Liz McKinley sends one that's like a couple of large candy canes with a bow and some holly. It looks like it would go on a door. May the wonders and joy of the season be yours throughout the year. And this year, Liz McKinley sends us a recipe. Chocolate peppermint bark. You've got to have the white chocolate, the dark chocolate, and the crushed candy canes to make this. Thank you, Liz. We may prepare that before Christmas is out. Here's one in green. This says he once won a fist fight using only his beard. Wishing you the most interesting holiday ever. Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year from Strong Automotive Merchandising. Here's one that's humorous. Santa, he's in a sleigh, he's got it loaded with the toys, and he's got the lines in hand, but guess what? There's no reindeer. His sleigh is standing still. And there's an elf reading something. Here's what the elf says. Sorry, Santa, all the deer are on jury duty. This is from the law office of W.T. Allison, Tommy, Nell, and Tanya. Best wishes for a happy holiday season and a happy new year. Thank you, Tommy. And he's in every Monday with Veterans Voices here on the radio. Here are the three wise men and the star. There's the tops of the buildings. As the light of God's love shines brightly this Christmas, may we praise Him for the gift of Jesus. This is from Jackie and Mary Bowles. Thank you for all you do for our county. You truly do keep us informed, and I love the music. Thank you, Jackie and Mary, for sending a beautiful Christmas card. Here's one with the mother and child pictured in a cameo on green with gold. This is from Myra Christ over Yantis Way. May you all have a very Merry Christmas and a very blessed New Year. Thanks for all you do. Love in Christ. And of course, Myra's card makes us remember the reason for the Christmas season. And here's one with the light pole, all wrapped in greenery and bows. Ed and Brenda Payne. Merry Christmas with love to the entire family. It's always nice to think about the family we love so much, and this comes at Christmas because we want to keep in touch and tell you that you're wished, you're wished a day that's happy as can be and a year that brings the things you want, especially. And thank you to the Paynes because not only for your friendship, but for your rainfall reports year-round from out there at Rocky Ridge. And one last one to note, we always get this letter from the Hopkins County Sheriff's Office, and it's Merry Christmas and Happy New Year, listing everybody that works for the Sheriff's Department. Besides our Sheriff Charles Butch Adams and Sheriff-elect Lewis Tatum, Chief Deputy Ricky Morgan, Executive Consultant Wani Pinky Cooper, Administrative Secretary Nancy Del Castillo, the CID Secretary is Lori Duncan, and then there's the CID Investigation Division, Jace England, Charles Humphreys, Dennis Finley, Tony Cruz, and Corley Weatherford. Besides them, there's Ron Lowry as Chief Communicator. There's 17 patrol officers, 5 transportation officers, 6 dispatchers, 26 jailers, Jail Administrator Kenneth Dean, and Records Dana Ivey. And we want to send a Merry Christmas and Happy New Year right back to each and every one of you. And thank you for your service to our county and everything that makes up Sulphur Springs and Hopkins County area. And we'll have some more cards tomorrow morning. But if you haven't sent yours in yet, please do so, P.O. Box 284, or send it to us online at ksst1230@gmail.com, or you can drop it off.